Hi everyone, it's YC. Welcome back to YC Cooks and Bakes. Today, obviously, is another hot day, so I'm just going to be making some brochettes for our supper because it's simple, it's quick and easy, and it's really, really good with the meat and all the vegetables. You know what I'm talking about, where you take a skewer and you just load it up with meat and little veggies. And I also have pineapple. Also, I'll show you all the veggies I'm going to put up. Now these I had already cleaned and soaked. You have to soak them for about 15 to 18 minutes so that they don't burn when you put the stuff on them. Okay, first you want to drain a can of pineapple. Here's the juice so that you can make a sauce out of it if you want, like if you like a sweet and sour sauce, or you may have like a bottled sauce that you like from the store that you like with your veggies and meat. You can use that too. But I just may thicken this and do something with this. I don't want it too sweet, but I want it to have that tang, you know. But anyway, here's the pineapple, and it's one of those big cans, you know, just like Dole has, but that's the Food Lion brand. And then you want to empty, sorry about that, some cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes. Even plum tomatoes probably work, but that'd be a little heavy. But if you have some little tomatoes like this, you can put them also on these sticks. And you've seen at the front, like if you go to my actual channel, you can see where I've done these a few times. I've done these before. And I think my show video is actually based on brochettes. And then after, we'll cook them. Once we have the brochettes loaded up, we cook them on a rack. If you're not going to be grilling, we just grilled steaks yesterday, so we're not going to be grilling again today. It's hot out. I'm not kidding. This is South Carolina. Anyway, I already sprayed this with olive oil spray, and we're going to use, put the brochettes on this. And you notice I have a rack. See, I don't have them right on the bottom because you don't want any one side to be too done compared to the other. You want the heat to be able to circulate underneath them. Yeah. And you don't have to use that big of a pan or rack. It's just because, I always say I got a big family. Now, I have mushrooms. I also have peppers. Now, I used 3 peppers already this week. Earlier in the week, you saw in my video where we had chicken fajitas. And I have 3 more because I buy them in 6 packs for $6 at Food Lion. So that's not too bad, $1 a piece, because some grocery stores, they're even more than that. They'll even have them wrapped up individually. So for these, and I have the bag here to show you. They come from Canada. They're really good. They're very flavorful. They're not just bland. It says inspired flavor, sunset. I don't know how that looks to you, but it's sunset. And they are a product of Canada. You see how big the bag is. So 3 fit here and 3 fit here. So that's what I've been using. Okay. And what I'm going to do is use some beef again today, even though we had steak yesterday, because this is going to taste different. I got a little tiny, I've never seen one this small. Probably if you're just an individual or live alone or just a couple maybe. This is what they call a London broil, which essentially is like a top round. But they call it, I don't know why they call it London broil, because that's actually a dish out of a cookbook. But it's a top round, and it looks like this. Now, when I buy one of these for a family, it comes out to here. So it's much different. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and open this. And I don't wash this off like I do chicken and all that. And I know everybody's got their own way, blah, blah, blah. I'm particular about how I do things. But I am going to put this on my cutting board. And this is what I want you to remember from this, just in case, you don't normally do this or you haven't done it in a while. What did I do? Here's my paper towel. I'll be touching everything with meat. When you cut this is what I want you to keep in mind. I want you not to have, if the lines on the meat look like they're going this way, you're cutting it wrong. If the lines on the meat are going this way, you're cutting it wrong. You don't want vertical, you don't want horizontal. Just in case you don't know, I'm not trying to be rude or ignorant to anyone who already knows this. I'm just trying to be kind and letting you know. You want it to look like a jigsaw puzzle or like counties on a map, like, you know, your state map. If it's all different, you know, like a jigsaw puzzle, then you know you're cutting it right. If the lines are all going one way or the other, that's not correct way. You want the lines to go like a jigsaw puzzle. Just in case you didn't know that, because otherwise it can be tough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this, and we're going to put them in this bowl with some garlic and salt and pepper and seasonings, and then we're going to use it to put on our little brochettes, our little skewers, around all the vegetables. Okay, and I'm going to pay attention to how I want to cut this. It looks like you do it the long ways, but I'd kind of like to do it this way so I could get more slices out of it. Here, let me try this. You really do have to sit here and figure it out. And if you were to cook this as a London broil, when you get it out of the oven after, it only takes a few minutes on each side, that's it. And you want to put it on an angle like this. I don't know if you can see that, because I'm still getting used to my camera, right? So you want it on an angle. You don't want, and that's good. I can see already that it's not lines one way or another. But you don't want it just straight down. Don't do that. Go on an angle so it's nice and thin and long pieces, and it can go on and wrap around the skewer. Now, if I had a big one, I would probably be cutting it this way. But this is small, and I don't want to use a larger piece of meat than that, because, oh, are you serious? I caught it. But because it's just too expensive. You know how prices are these days. Yeah. So, yep. And what I'm doing is, you can see that looks like a map. I don't know if you can see that. But if I find this too wide, I can just go in half like that, which is what I attempted to do a second ago. So, gracefully. Okay. Yeah. So kind of on an angle, put it down where you want to cut it, and then flip your knife to an angle, you know, like that. And that way it can make a lot, because I'm hoping to make, you know, anywhere between 15 and 18 skewers. Yeah. And when you run out of meat, you run out of meat. I'll tell you what my mom used to do when we were growing up. She would make these, and she would take bacon around the end of one and flip it around the vegetables. She would put and tuck it in. Or she would put one on, move it down, wrap it around, and then put the top on. She would wrap bacon around. You talk about good, but because it's pork, you know, you want to make sure it's, you know, cooked very well. So, yeah. You want to make sure that. That's for sure. Okay. Now, the one that you see on my showcased on my channel there, you know, I probably was able to afford a lot more meat. That you know, things just don't go far now, you know. The reason I got the steaks yesterday is I got a huge deal. There was one steak that was over $18, and I ended up getting it $13 off. So when you get a deal like that, you go get it. You know. Yeah. I don't even know if this has what it is. It's not a big piece of meat, but believe it or not, it's $7.99 a pound. It was over $8, so can you believe that? Isn't that something? Yeah. Things never used to be like that. It's maddening. Especially when you know what you used to pay, you know, it's like, oh. Has everybody been surviving this heat wave? I know the other day, it didn't, or was it 2 days ago? It didn't get as hot as it has been. And I told my husband, I said, we're having a cool down. He said, 111 is a cool down? I said, believe it or not, it was. At the time, it was a cool down. That's sad, isn't it? Yeah, because, you know, once you factor in the heat index, that's when it gets brutal. Now, depending on how the butcher cut it, you can get some cuts of meat that all of a sudden, the grain will switch on you. You'll be like, okay, which way do you cut it? You know, sometime, the odd time, you're just gonna get that piece of meat that no matter what you do, it's just, all I can say is marinate it, and then it won't be as tough. You know, you're gonna get some that are not cut properly, because that's just the way life is. Yeah. Some things are done right and perfect, and others not so much. That's just the way it is. So I'm gonna put all this in my bowl, and then you'll see how much I have already. See? That's nice. And then we'll put it with some vegetables and stuff after. You know what I don't have that sometimes I do have is either a green pepper or like green zucchini. I'm missing something green, but ask me if I'm gonna cry about it. No. I have a green cucumber, but I'm not going to cook a cucumber. I probably could, but I'm not going to. I do have some mushrooms that I'm going to be using because they're really delicious on a skewer. I cut that a little too thick. Yeah, that's all right. It'll be all right. So, that's too thin. As long as everybody gets some meat on at least one of them, we'll probably each grab like 3, and then you take a fork on it and you push it off onto your bed of rice, and then you know you could either already have a sauce on it or add a sauce at that time, and you'll of course the meat will be seasoned and with the vegetables and basting it while it's cooking in the oven, and that is going to be really, really good. But like I said, you could do these on the grill if you want. Okay, I am going to remove this tray because it doesn't need to be in our way anymore. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'll go ahead and I'll see if I can pause this thing. I'm even scared to touch it. Let me pause it and I'll come back. Okay, I'm back. I wanted to clean the knife and everything, put it away. My husband's very particular about his knives. I didn't want to just leave it with, you know, soap and water and stuff like that, so I just put it away. Now, we're going to go ahead and season our meat. And to keep it from drying out while I'm working with it and everything, I am going to put a little bit of olive oil. Okay. And I want some garlic in it. This ain't gonna fit in there. I'll use my knife. It's okay, not a problem. And I was able to wash my hands. I'm using the right feel of garlic. I don't have no special measurement on this. You're gonna have to determine how much you would like for your family according to the size of the piece of meat you're dealing with. So, yeah. And then I'm going to put a little bit of basil. Sometimes I use thyme, but today I'm using basil. And I'm going to get some pepper. I got everything right all around me here. Okay. You want it to be able to taste like so. There's my Italian seasoning. I don't know why it's over there, but it was, I don't want too much basil now, you know. But I was looking for that earlier. And I'll just use my salt shaker up here. Every time, you know what I noticed in videos? I'm not pouring that much, but if you look at it on a video, it looks like the person's putting tons. But we're not. It just looks like that. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Okay, now I am going to use some Worcestershire sauce or Worcestershire sauce, however you would like to say it. I was watching a video one day, and there was a guy on there. I don't remember the name of his channel. I feel bad I didn't look at the name of it. But he says we're going to use a little bit of Watch Your Sister sauce. I thought that was so cute. Watch Your Sister sauce. But anyway, I usually say Worcestershire. Okay, we're going to go ahead and stir this so we can get it kind of marinating, you know. And you know what, if you wanted to actually buy a marinade, because you know you're pressed for time, like if you work in that, get the Montreal steak marinade with the black pepper in it. Oh, that is so good. I love the Montreal steak marinade. That is really good. And I think it's only like 15 minutes, but you can do longer if you want, is what it says, you know. But this already smells so good, and it looks good. I'm just making sure that the garlic is going across each one. Okay, that's good. And you know, if you're doing this for a crowd of people, you could put plastic gloves on in that. But this is just going to be for my little family here tonight. And when I put all this stuff on the skewers, guess what? I don't need to put it. They're going to go into an oven that's 350 degrees, you know, until it's cooked. So, yeah, just think about that. Now, we're going to put that aside and see how I have a little wooden board for my vegetables. That's what you want to do. You want to have a separate cutting board for your meat and one for your vegetables. Yeah. The only time I would use the other one for both is if it was nice and clean and I started with the vegetables first and then went to the meat. Yeah, you don't mix all that up because you're asking for it then at that point, you know? Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get one of these started, and then I'll be able to do the others. I'm just showing you how I normally do it. Okay. I cut around it like that, and then I'm going to use a bag, you know, from the grocery store, and put my stuff in it. But if you go like that, all the seeds will come out at one time. I'm going to try to shake some of them out in it. Yeah, so a lot come out, but a lot gonna come more come out, you know. Let's see. See, there's still some in there that I gotta take out. You can't see them. But it looks like this when you first cut it open. You can see the white part and the seeds, and they're flying everywhere. Anyway, let me show you with this part that I have cleaned so I don't take up too much of your time. You clean out the white part. What do you call it? The pith or whatever? I don't know what you call it. But anyway, you go like this, and you have long pieces. Or you can do this like this. So I got to remember I'm not doing fajitas now. I got to get my act together. But it has to be like chunks. And then, you know, what you end up doing is you can put it, I'll show you. See? And then you could, the tomatoes have already been cleaned. You can go like that. See? And then you keep building on it. But let me clean all of this first. Let's do that. Okay. Okay. I just wanted to show you I have them all cut in, you know, chunks. And now I have wiped off a mushroom and cut it in half so it looks like that, so that you'll be able to put it on a skewer. Now, I will say that these are thicker than what I normally use, because when I went to the butcher that day, that's where you get it in the butcher section, or I don't often see them in the bakery aisle or the cooking section. They're usually in where the meat is, usually somewhere around the butcher area where all the meat and everything is. But these are particularly thick, and there's even thicker ones. I don't know what for, oscabusco or something, you know, with the pork chunks and all that. But we're using beef, and you don't want them to be that thick. But I will show you how you can put it on. This is the piece of meat, you know, that was marinating or having nice seasons put on it. And you go like, you know that old-fashioned Christmas candy that goes up and down, up and down, up and down? That's what you do. Remember that? Do you remember that old candy that does that? Just remember that. There it is. And you still, even after all this, can wind, I hope you can see, wind, you know, bacon around it if you want it. But, you know, then, you know, too, you got to remember that's going to get costly, you know. I wish sometimes they would make pineapple chunks bigger, but it works, see? And like, let's say you want something red, like, well, you got red tomato, but, you know, you're going to want to load this up. And maybe a couple more things, and then that's it. And you'll have, eventually, your rack will be full. And after you know, you season them really good, and you put them in the oven, not long. I'm not sure about that. You almost have to just keep an eye on it. It could be 20 minutes to 35 minutes, somewhere around there. Just so as long as you know that this is cooked. And it's small, so it's not going to be like you're doing a whole roast or anything. And this type of meat already cooks in 8 minutes, 8 minutes on each side for a whole great big roast on broil. So you got to think about it in terms like that. But yeah, the other thing I might go get and cut up is my red onion, which, you know, looks like it's purple. I think I'm going to cut some of that up. And the one thing I wanted to tell you, when you do your mushrooms, don't go immersing them in water. You'll ruin them. They'll soak up that water just like a sponge. What you want to do is you take a napkin, you know, let's say you wanted this one, and you just gently wipe off the sod or whatever it is that they're using, that they had the mushrooms growing in, you know. Just gently wipe it off, and you'll see it on your napkin. And then just cut it in half like that, so you still can put it on the skewer, on the brochette. If you throw them in water, they are not going to stay on that stick when they're cooking. I just want to warn you about that. And you're not going to be hurt from anything that's organic on here. You're not. No. Not unless you went to the wrong mushroom patch. You don't want that. But, okay, so I'm going to get some purple onion, and that's it. And like I said, yeah, I'm going to load up my rack, cook it later, and then what you do after, do I have a fork? I don't have a fork with me right now, but you know the prongs of the fork. You put it here, and you slide all this off onto a bed of white rice or brown rice, whatever you like. You even could put them on a small noodle if you wanted, but it's tradition to have it on white rice. Anyway, and that's how you do that. And I just wanted to share that because it's healthy, it's quick. It may not seem quick to you, but it actually is in the scheme of things on a hot day where you can sit in here and just sit here and fiddle with this and have it all set for supper. Anyway, that's another meal idea. And you know I'm going to have lots. I always take photos of everything. You know that. And I'll try to have a photo probably at the start of the video. Okay. So I hope I gave you a supper idea that's really good in a really hot summer. Okay, have a great day. Bye-bye.